You know, I think this is such a fun concept for a show. I love, seeing another part of it's not Canada, but it feels like Canada to some degree. What got you into making this show, working with Robina Lord Stafford and Perry Chafe? How did you get involved?
I had the idea. So the concept of the show came from we were over. My company co-produces Son of a Critch with Mark and with Project 10. And we were scouting in season 2 location in Saint-Pierre for an episode because Newfoundland has a long history with Saint-Pierre. And I did a movie there 22 years ago with John Batcher, our first time working together. And the idea just hit me fast and furious, and I got the tingly feeling, and it wouldn't go away, and very quickly pitched it to CBC, and then very quickly we're in development. And then I started working with Robina, and Robina and I had worked together on Moonshine. And creatively, it just became this thing. It just felt like it was a going concern and something I just couldn't let go of. And it's truly one of the most special experiences I've had in my life.
I love the way it combines like the investigative police work with this kind of shady underbelly of this little small town feeling kind of place. And at the same time, then you've got the French and English working together. It's just such a great vibe how everything comes together. How do you balance that? How did you find a way to work with people to get that to come out right?
Well, so structurally, procedurally, we wanted to make something that was had a serious amount of stakes to our procedural stuff. Like, so the island of Saint Pierre is not just like Shetland. I'm sure there's Broadchurch. There's not a murder there every week, but these. The structure of these shows is a murder mystery element to it, and that's where we really started. With the concept of that. That's in my wheelhouse. It's kind of what I'm passionate about. It's what I like to write. Then the idea of these characters and how Fitz ends up there and what happens in his personal life to get him there, and why Arch is there. And, she's originally from Paris. And so what's her story and how did she end up out in this place? And, it does, when you're there, obviously our version is fictionalized. The police force is fictionalized. They have the gendarmerie as their police force, but no one local is a part of the gendarmerie there. So we wanted to create a fictional police force. So we weren't dealing with that. So we were dealing with people who've been there their whole lives and are part of the community and part of the police force. And where would you want to go if you wanted to disappear in the world? Like, how many places are left? And, in our version of this world, that's where you can kind of disappear and kind of live in the shadows in a place like this. And that brings a fictionalized underbelly, as you said, that's there through Sean Gallagher's character, someone who's acting as their own fiefdom, being able to use the access to international markets and international sea lanes, international airway, because you're a domestic flight away from Paris when you cross the border into Saint-Pierre, because it is France. So like it was rife for conflict, rife for confrontation. And then, each character arc, why, one of the lines is you're in Saint-Pierre for one of two reasons. You love the place or you're running from a past you can't hide from. So it's like, that then brings all this intrigue and fun. And, so we bring a certain level of seriousness to those criminal, those cases. And then there's a lot of levity within the interpersonal dynamics of these characters.
Well, where will this season take Fritz and Arch? Like, do you have kind of something you can hint at about what's in store for them?
Yeah, I think it starts. What's in store for them, I think, kind of starts from where they came from. So, Fitz is coming off a long stint of undercover work. He's never fully recovered from whatever happened to him in that world. That kind of starts to parse out. You get pieces of that throughout the season. He's running from a real conflict that happened in his life. very recently, he goes to question the premier of Newfoundland on an unrelated case. He thinks the premier is connected to this case. Premier happens to be living with his ex-wife and his kids, and he's in a relationship with them. He arrests the premier. It goes viral because he arrests the premier at his kid's school, and every parent kind of films it on their phones. And his boss is like puts him in Saint-Pierre as a place to lay low until the kind of heat blows off him. But Fitz is lost, and he's in a place where he's lost his family. He's in a weird place in his career. He's in a weird place in his life. He's an excellent cop, but he needed something. He didn't know he needed this. Arch, similarly, is there for a mysterious reason. Why did she come from France to this place? Is she running from her mother? Is she running from a past? And all these things kind of start to reveal themselves. She's got this obsession with Sean Gallagher, and why is she after Sean Gallagher? And she didn't know she needed Fitz. So together, when they're sort of thrust upon each other through these, the universe seems to conspire to put them together in this place because the place is also so beautiful and special. And Fitz goes through a major level of growth. Arch is going through a major level of growth as they connect to each other and find themselves in each other in a thing they didn't know they needed.
It works incredibly well. I love the early things that we get to see between them. What are Josephine and Ben's like to work with?
Josephine, Ben's is amazing too. Ben's is incredible, great guy. Our entire cast, right down to every guest star. There's no ego. There's no presence of selfishness. Everybody's there to do the work and have a really good time. The generosity of spirit. But Josephine is a true unicorn. She's one of the most special people I've ever met. She's an excellent partner in as an actor. She's a great leader of the cast when I can't be there. I don't get to do a lot of the socializing and a lot of the group stuff because of the workload that I have. She picks that up in such a profound way. And how she really leads is by her work ethic and her positive attitude. She is egoless. She's not in it for herself. She's in it for the work. I can't say enough about her, how special she is. And almost every time I start to talk about her, I want to cry. Like, it was our first scene together is actually a scene from episode 4. And it's like we'd been doing it together for years. And everybody commented on the fact that our very first take of our very first scene, it was like, we're alive. These two people are real and they are each other. And the chemistry between the two of us is incredible. You can't plan that. It just happened. It was like a gift. She's a gift.
Well, you two are great together. I love what I've seen so far. I have to ask, maybe this is tough to answer actually, but like, considering everything in this, what do you think the reaction is going to be like in places like Quebec and France? Because obviously it does feel like those audiences could be built in some way.
I don't know. It's kind of like I don't know if you're familiar with Republic of Doyle, but it's a show that I created.
Yeah.
Set in Newfoundland. It's very similar in that, Newfoundland's a character, but it's not the real Newfoundland. It's in many ways a highly fictionalized version of it. So that's certainly what we're playing with here is our version of this place. But, the beauty of the landscapes, hopefully they're really taken with the way that it's shot. Like, we really spend a lot of time and energy to make sure that we were showing the beauty that we saw, bringing it in as a character that way. It's a show for everybody in that there's a real cosmopolitan feel for a tiny little place in Saint-Pierre in real life. It's got incredible restaurants. It's got incredible people. And there's a real generosity there and a real realness, because if you live in a town that small that has that many people, like, there's no way that you can't be honest with yourself and the people around you, it feels like. So there's a quality of that we tried to bring to it. Visually, it's stunning. It also has this like metropolis feel to it. In this tiny little town, feels like a real city, and it looks like a real city. There's no rural community I've ever been to of that size that has that much infrastructure and that much sort of city vibe to it. It's really spectacular, and they're real social people. there's a lot of there's always events, and there's always concerts, and there's always they're always doing something fresh and interesting. So we try to sort of bring little flavors of that to it, show it in the best way we can, and then at the end of the day, we're making a TV show about these people doing this job, living in this place, solving these crimes. So you have to serve the story first, and then hope that people come along for the ride regardless. I'm sure there will be people from there who are like, wait a minute, a murder a week? What are you talking about? But, that's the nature of the beast.
Well, even fictionalized, it looks amazing. It's a great show. Thank you for the time. I can't wait to see the rest of the season.
Thank you so much for watching, and appreciate you saying that.